are being held up. Not necessarily getting headline news, but are being held up and robbed. So,
well, I suppose not even the actual physical act of being held up, for example, but also the fact that we all live essentially in fear of crime is an impact as well, isn't it?
Sure. And therefore, you organize your life. You don't want to take your family out. Mm-hmm. You're worried about how your children are going to school and how they're coming back home and so on. There's a whole series of things that adds, therefore, to stress and so on. And therefore, we cannot enjoy life. So you could have the best job in the world, or you could have a decent job. You could have a home and, not extravagance or opulence, but live a comfortable life as a working person. And that becomes meaningless because a family member is killed. I saw a letter to the editor in the newspapers a few days ago written by the mother of a 15-year-old boy who was killed after a football game. This is her son. And she was saying, her son wanted to have a profession of being a dog trainer, and he already had some 15 dogs, thoroughbred dogs and so on. And he was going to live a productive and fulfilled life. And at age 15, that was snuffed out. So all of us are faced with this crisis. And therefore, we have to say we do not accept it. The worst thing to happen is that because out of fear, we do nothing and say nothing. Because we are scared that we will lose our job, or that we will lose our contract, or we lose business, or we lose this, or we lose that. And we do nothing, and then we lose our life, or we lose everything. So we cannot be intimidated by fear, nor can we be intimidated by the fact that, other people may not do it or take action and support. If all of us say nobody else is going to lift a finger to help, then we will all stand by and see the country go down the drain. If all of us say now is the time for us to do something, then in fact we can make a real difference.
You spoke of the tipping point. We've obviously going through some fairly hard times, and we're in recession apparently, if you believe the central bank governor, which I think we should. But we've had some rather odd announcements that seem to just fly by. We've had the Prime Minister with his $10 million outdoor concert facility at his home and diplomatic center. Yet none of these things result in, let's say, spontaneous street protests. I mean, quite often in history, spontaneous protests are what you expect and what actually will change governments.
Yes.
We don't seem to have any history of that. Is it that we have to wait for a union or union groups to come together to say, listen, people, protest?
Yeah. Well, there's spontaneous struggles, but largely over individual problems. So you get the blocking of the roads and the picketing and the protests over water or a bad road or school being dilapidated and so on. You get absence of sidewalks or drains. There are a lot of those spontaneous protests, yes. A lot of spontaneous protests.
Well, why don't they coalesce then?
That has been one of our problems, and that is why people's democracy has come together to now offer the opportunity for all of these things to coalesce. So we are saying to citizens out there in communities, you have a problem with water? Wear red Friday and Saturday. Come to the rally Sunday. Stay at home Monday and Tuesday. You're fed up with the wrong priority of spending by the government, $2 million for a flag, and you've heard of some of the ads. $2 million for a flag and no money for babies' operations, because there were some babies who were to get operations, and the parents were trying to raise like $600,000-$700,000 for a life-saving operation, and government didn't respond, saying they have no resources for that. So you don't have money for a life-saving operation for a baby, but you have $2 million for a flag. Well, let us express our outrage now by taking part in these 5 days of action. In other words, we are trying to find the vehicle or the mechanism, the means by which each individual citizen can now express his or her fed-upness, outrage, concern, call it what you may.
Now, obviously, you've built the group as the people's democracy.
Yeah.
Is that to some extent, and I'm probably being cynical here, to separate it from the union movement? Because a lot of people who aren't members of unions will look at unions and say, well, your workers are overpaid anyhow. I'm just talking about the average person. Say, well, I wish I worked for TSTT or Petrotrin, I'd be making a fortune. What are they complaining about? Was that a deliberate choice to perhaps obscure the fact that there is a union background to this?
Well, we're not trying to obscure.
And I'm using the word obscure pejoratively.
Yeah, sure. No, we're not trying to hide the fact that the unions comprise a very large number of the 40-odd organizations. Some more than 20 are in fact trade unions. So we're not trying to hide that. We are involved. We are very active in the process. But we didn't want to have people's democracy or the coalition identified as only representing one sector or coming from one sector. We're trying to bring people together across all the lines that have divided us traditionally: race, religion, geography, age, gender, and organization, so that, and sector that you may be in. So we are saying that this people's democracy now really is an expression of the people's will, because anybody can participate. And we're inviting other groups to join us as well, to come and join us. And we have a very simple email. It is thepeoplesdemocracy thepeoplesdemocracytt@gmail.org is our email. And we have a website as well, which is peoplesdemocracytt.org.
Which, if you forget, you can just probably Google People's Democracy Trinidad and
or TT, People's Democracy TT, and it will come up on the website. Yes, for sure.
So what are we going to be seeing over the next few days then? Obviously, today, as you and I are speaking, will be Wear Red.
Friday and Saturday, Wear Red.
Right.
Simple thing. Everybody in Trinidad and Tobago has something red in their wardrobe. We brought it out for the Olympic athletes, for cricketers,
you can
for football.
Your Soca Warriors T-shirt and wear it.
Doesn't matter what it is, once it is red. Friday and Saturday, you have a problem, you're not happy about something, you're frightened about your job. You might be frightened that you're losing your job. You're not sure about whether you're going to be able to pay your mortgage and so on. Wear red. For whatever the reason is, you're not happy about local government issues, wear red. Or you're not happy about constitutional reform, wear red. You're scandalized by the inquiry or by the absence of integrity commission, wear red. Don't like high food prices, which are continuing, wear red. So wear red Friday and Saturday. Sunday, 1:30, Woodford Square, mass rally. A peaceful rally, messages by speeches. We'll have prayers by religious heads and so on, and personalities. And then Monday and Tuesday, let's make a sacrifice and stay at home, reflect on the future of the country, and send a message. Together we can rescue Trinidad and Tobago.
This is probably my odd mind, but I know because of the number of issues that you're addressing. The movie Network comes to mind. I don't know if you remember it, where the news anchor sort of leans his head out the window and he announces on TV and gets people to do it as well, that we're mad as hell and we're not going to take this anymore. Is that essentially, in a nutshell, what this whole...
Yeah, enough is enough.
Yeah.
Enough is enough. And I think people in Trinidad and Tobago are really fed up, and they're saying enough is enough. They perhaps have not known how to get out of it. And this is what we are saying. This is a way now out. Collective activity, civil society organizations, broad-based, representing the diversity of the country. Let us come together as a people on the ground, because a people coming together on the ground, really, the people's democracy has power. Because that's where democracy, the issue of democracy really lies in the power of the people, not in the fact that you elect a government. That's secondary. It really is the power that the people have, and that's why we talk about people's democracy.
Well, David Abdullah, we'll see over the next few days how successful your quest is, and I'm sure you're hoping that you'll have a massive turnout for the rally, certainly, and for the 2 days of stay at home.
Yeah, and the process continues after November 24th. It's an ongoing process. It's not once off, it's ongoing engagement, continuing to build this process.
David Abdullah, thank you so much for being on the program.
Thanks.